Diva, and welcome to another evening of cooking. Of course, a high protein but delicious dinner. And so tonight we're going to do some island flavor. I'm going to let my accent drop in on this because we're making some of my home country's like favorite food. I was planning on making my husband's country favorite food, but didn't get some of the protein, didn't get one of the ingredients for it. So tonight we're making some Trinidad saltfish, and we're gonna have some protein pitas with it. So I cannot wait for this one because, as I said, I'm from the Caribbean and I'm about to make y'all some a little bit of Caribbean feast in here. And now this is different names that you might see this throughout. You might hear sometimes the name buljol, saltfish. Um, there's some other names, but the only one I know is some saltfish. We normally make this as bacon saltfish or fried bacon saltfish, coconut bacon saltfish. I'm not going to do it like that because remember, we are all about the getting in shape, and I am loving the new look. So I'm gonna keep with the high protein and we're gonna do saltfish. Yo, boy Coco, what's up? What's up? Welcome. Thank you so much for jumping on here. Tonight we're doing some island flavor. And so if any of you jumping on here from the Caribbean, let me know. Drop it in the comments because your girl's from TNT, Trinbago, Trinidadian, whatever it is that you want to say. And we're gonna make some island food tonight, but let's keep it still on the high protein side. So we're gonna do some saltfish, and we're gonna make some protein pitas to eat with it. So this is a food that you can normally eat with mostly with a bread in general in Trinidad, but for tonight, we're going to make a pita, but make it protein. So we're going to do the protein pita. So let me start getting my things together so that we can jump into this. One of the things that I want to make sure that you're aware of for saltfish, you got to make sure that you are soaking it because that's where the name salt fish. It's salty, okay? And so the one that I'm using tonight is going to be the Goya pollock. You can hear sometimes you hear pollock is the name. You hear people say bacalao, like in Spain and stuff like that. They say bacalao sometimes, but we call it saltfish in Trinidad. That's how it is for us. And so that's the one that I'm going to use tonight. You can get this at probably at your supermarkets, but I normally get my saltfish from like the Mexican grocery near me. And calories, and let me give you the macros on this. So it's 50 calories in a serving, which is super low, super low. And proteins, 12 grams. And so that's why we're using this one today. Okay. Harper, your hair color is so gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. I just did it last night, so still getting used to the color myself, especially on camera. All right, so tonight we're doing saltfish and pita, protein pita, because remember we're all about the high protein. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing you want to do for this is to get some of that salt off. Okay, and so I have had this. My husband was supposed to put this in 30 minutes in salt water. I mean, not in salt water, in the water here, but then I'm gonna have to do some stuff on, put it in the to boil to get some of that salt off. But before we get there, let's leave this soaking and let's work on the pita first so that we can actually get that going quickly tonight. All right. So for the pita, we're doing 3. If you've seen me before, you know I am all about the high protein, and that includes in the carbs as well. So what I've been using is oat flour, yogurt, and some salt. That's it. Everyone can do this. 3 ingredients to make this pita, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing with making it with some saltfish. If you're from the Caribbean, let me know in the comments. Drop your country flag so that I know who to big up in the comments. Let me just also check to make sure I have enough yogurt, because definitely you're going to need some yogurt. And as I said, I didn't buy extra yogurt for this, but we're gonna make it do what it do. I'm getting the oat flour, not oat flour. Today we're gonna be using the self-rising flour. And I'm actually gonna put a little bit of baking powder in here. So we'll see. because I like my thing a little fluffier and it hasn't been coming out. We're gonna be trying anything in here tonight. Okay, um, here we go. So we have self-rising flour. You technically only need this and probably don't need the baking powder. I'm gonna be trying it out because what's the worst that's gonna happen? And then you're gonna need some whole. Um, this is the reduced fat. Let me check to see if I have the whole fat yogurt. I think I thought I did, but maybe I don't have any more because I go through these things like a lot and I may only have that one, which is fine. You know, you do what you do and have some salt. Okay. So if you're joining me now, we're making some island flavor whole high protein dinner in the Caribbean, Trinidad. This is saltfish. It's something that we tend to eat mostly at breakfast time, but you can eat this whenever you want. And I love saltfish anyway, so I'm gonna make it and eat it how I want to make it, and that's for dinner tonight. Now, before I was gonna do this, I was thinking of making ackee and saltfish. If you've ever heard of that, from it's a Caribbean, Jamaican, like their national dish, honestly. And but I didn't get the ackee in time, so we're just gonna go with what we got. All right, so 2 cups of self-rising flour, 1 cup of 1 cup of your yogurt, because that's what we're gonna make it with. Let's see. Okay, and that's how we're gonna do. I know for a lot of people, I keep doing these so that you can see how easy this is to make. Okay, we're making high protein or protein pita so that it's gonna not cancel out, but at least if you're gonna go with the carbs, you're gonna add. It's gonna be intentional. Okay, so I want to do 2 cups of this. So I'm just using a half cup thing here. So that's 4 scoops in here. This is self-rising flour so that you don't necessarily need like baking powder and stuff. However, I'm still going to buck the system. We're going to see if this is going to work. I'm going to add it in there. Thrifting Atlanta says my favorite saltfish. You actually like ackee and saltfish. I personally I like the regular saltfish the most because I don't know. I can't figure out the taste in ackee, to be honest with you. But I like, I'll make it. My husband loves it, but you have to order it, and that could be annoying at times. Okay, so we're going in with 1 cup of the protein. This is your yogurt, which is your protein. And so in this alone, you're going to get 17 grams in 3/4 cup of serving size. And we're doing 1 cup. So we're going to get probably a little over 17 grams in our protein, in our pita. Why I keep saying protein? So I'm just going to try to get something to clean the top here. Okay. And so we're making this to eat with the saltfish. If y'all hear my accent slip out a few times tonight, is because I'm talking about my Caribbean roots here in the food. And saltfish to me is just one of those things that you really cannot go wrong. You cannot mess up. You just cannot mess saltfish up. It's just such an easy, simple meal to make. It's filling, obviously, because of all of the protein. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in there just for taste, okay? But as I was saying, you just can't mess that up. I mean, it's about cutting vegetables and then putting it in saute it in a pan. Once you see me do this, you're gonna be like, oh, that's it? That's what they be charging us all this money for? So I'm gonna put a little bit of baking powder in here. I'm testing this variation tonight with you. Normally you don't need to, but let's see. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm gonna go in with 2. Okay, there we go. And then all you need to do, you're gonna get your spatula or whatever it is to kind of bring it together. And it's gonna clump up together. It's going to look like dry, and you need liquid. Ma'am, you do not. I promise you, you don't. Just kind of keep working the batter and we're working the flour here. I'm doing this first, although to be honest, you don't need to set this aside to rise or anything. The fact that it has the self rising means that it's already has the work is already being done in there. But I want to get this going first and then we'll start working on the saltfish. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had saltfish in any kind of form. If you're in the Latin America, they normally call it bacalao. Like if you're in Puerto Rico, they say bacalao. Dominican Republic, Venezuela say bacalao. I've very only like in Trinidad, Jamaica, I guess St. Vincent and all those places, they say saltfish. And there's different ways of making this thing. I'm going to show you one way, the way I learned from my mom, but there are definitely other ways. So if you go online and try to look it up, there are different ways to do it. I don't think any way is the wrong way because, like I said, you really can't go wrong in this thing. So you see how the yogurt is coming together on here. I'm just kind of mashing it down. And now I'm going to go in with my hand. Just make sure your hand is clean. And I'm squeezing them together. The liquid is already in there from the yogurt, okay? It's going to come together. This is one of those things where you have to trust the process. And I am not a person, I don't have much patience. That's why I don't bake. I like cooking because I like to see my rewards immediately. I don't want to wait 3 hours. I don't want to come back in a day and see how things have moved. So this is one of those things. But I promise you, once you start doing this, you're going to realize like, okay, this is not that hard. Like making your own pita bread. And once you start making this, you just can't go back to doing it any other way. Okay. Here, see, there goes my lack of patience already. I'm already adding more liquid in here. So I added a little scoop to get this going faster because I lack patience. And I always feel like trust the process until the process doesn't work quickly. All right. Malva, welcome, welcome. How are you? Thanks for joining. Do you like smoked herring too? Smoked herring, I do like. I have to be in the mood though. And honestly, I haven't been in the mood in about 10 years. so I don't know. I haven't had it in a while. I like sardines better than smoked herring. Smoked herring is also another big breakfast fave in Trinidad. Like lots of people make that as a quick meal, but lots of protein in smoked herring, lots of protein in sardines, lots of protein in this meal. So as we said, this one is going to give me about 12 grams of protein, but then adding the pita bread with protein in here is going to bring me up to a little higher than I would normally get if I'm just having bread. So you see how that came together? And we're just going to knead it into a little ball. Get the gluten piece going in here. And then we can just leave it for a few minutes on its own. Technically, you can do this for a few more times and then go right into rolling them out and working with them. Don't want to over knead it too much. So I think this is good. And we're going to leave that like that and just put it in the back for a little bit. I'm going to use one of my kitchen towels to cover it. And then we'll just leave it for a little bit while we work on some other things okay. All right. Now, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining me, we are doing not Jamaican, but Trinidadian saltfish. I am from Trinidad. One of my absolutely favorite meals is saltfish. And I feel like I've gone to the point where I can make this really, really well. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. So I'm about to show y'all. So, the next time you have um, a feel for something that's not chicken, the boring chicken and steak, and you need some protein, this is one that you will fall back on. I'm also making the protein pitas from scratch, so you don't even have to go out and buy that. 3 ingredients: you're going to need your self-rising flour, some salt, and then this is the protein yogurt. Okay, promise you, this thing tastes so good. My kids absolutely love it, always want me to make it. And if you have teenagers, you know, if they're asking for anything, then you know you're killing it, because getting them to eat is one job in of itself. Okay. Um, Rish the fish. Thanks for the compliment on the hair color. Malva says, I'm doing well. How are you? I made the peanut butter yogurt bowl with dark chocolate. It was delicious. Malva, thank you so much. Yes, it was delicious. If you guys are wondering what she's talking about, I made some snacks, I think on Saturday. Go watch that live. Super easy snacks, high protein, but delicious, because that's what we're about here. This is like ackee and saltfish without the ackee. I normally make everything exactly like that when I make the ackee and saltfish. Some other people make it differently, but this is exactly like how I would make ackee and saltfish, except one step is missing, and that is the ackee. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the saltfish a little bit. Here it is, so you can see what it looks like. As I mentioned, I keep putting the bag. I kept the bag so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this is, sorry, it was in the thing just now. This is the bag that I use. It's Pollock. You can get this at your supermarket. You can get this at your international food place. I get it at the Mexican supermarket here, and so they always have it. But it's gonna come, kind of frozen ish, and then this is what it looks like. Okay, and so this is the piece. It's not a very, yeah, it's pretty big, I guess. Okay, but this is all salt. Literally, you cannot eat this by itself. I am going to give the warning. You cannot, you absolutely cannot just put this in and start cooking it. I don't want you coming back on my channel talking about, you didn't tell me that it was salty. It's saltfish. So what we normally do is, you can do a few things. You can soak it for about 8 hours. Okay. I thought I was soaking it for 8 hours today. Unfortunately, my husband he didn't empty it into the water. He just put it in the water inside the bag. So it's only been soaking for about 30. Actually, I came home around 6. So it's been soaking for about close to an hour. Not enough time. So one of the tricks you can do is the boiling method. And so what you basically do is, we're going to be boiling this over and over, kind of emptying the water a few, maybe 3 times to do it. So all I'm going to do is get a big pot, like a regular pot of water, like if you're boiling your pasta, something like this. I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to add fresh water, because this water that I have it in here right now is obviously some of the salt from that came off on the original. And then I'm just going to add fresh water and put it on the stove. And then you bring it to a boil. As it starts boiling, you empty it another set until it comes down to a point where you can eat it without tasting all salt. Reminder and warning, because I don't want nobody coming back on my channel talking about I made them eat salt. It's salted fish, okay? But you can get rid of that salt either by soaking or by boiling or doing both, right? So what I would have done today is, if I came home and it had been boiling all day, I would have still boiled it just once, maybe at that time, to get the little bit of salt off, okay? And so this is just going right now on our fire, and then we're going to go back to I'm actually going to start cutting up some of the vegetables so we can kind of get everything going. All right, there we go. All right, put that on high and let's go. All right, Let's get the veggies going. If you don't have veggies for your saltfish, I don't know what you're doing because it's not saltfish. And I've been to places where I've ordered saltfish and it's like, we call it scrimpy scrimpy. It is, Zoe, the milky is in here. Oh, it is scrimpy scrimpy on the veggies. That's part of it, okay? Put the veggies in the saltfish. Bonnie, welcome, welcome. And Donna Julian said hi. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're doing Trinidadian saltfish. It's a island flavor tonight, but make it high protein, okay? Some of the things that you're going to need. You're going to need sweet pepper. You're going to need tomatoes. Like, you listen, if you don't have tomatoes, don't start making this dish. Get the tomatoes. You need the tomatoes, okay? You're going to need white onions. Okay, you're going to need some Scotch bonnet pepper, but here in San Diego, I forgot what they call these. They're not Scotch bonnet pepper. Dang it. If somebody knows or recognizes, drop it in the comments. I can't remember the name, but you're going to need some little heat. Okay? So you're going to get that. As I said, most of the work is going to be about cutting up veggies. You're going to need some time. Let me tell you now, if you're in the Caribbean, time is like money. You need time in your food. You have to season your food with time. You need onions. You need some red, I'm gonna get some scallions or green onions, whichever way you want to use. And you need some cilantro. Okay? That's kind of what you need. There we go. I have seen versions of this where they put cabbage in there as well. Do you, boo? But this is saltfish and bread tonight. The bread is going to be the protein pita. So we sticking on the goals here. Okay? All right. Let me get this down. Habanero. There it is. Thank you. That's what it is. It's actually habanero. Catherine Jackson, thank you for that. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's get this knife out and let's go to work. The more pretty the thing look, the more nice it look, as they say. That's how you know you're doing the right thing. I'm looking for my knife. Okay, here we go. All right. If you were with me last night, guys, I could not find this knife to save my life. After the live, I went back to where the knives are supposed to be, and this little thing was sitting right there. So when you're searching for something, sometimes, you know that saying, it's right in front of your eye, and you can't see it. It's crazy. All right, so let's go to town. This is the green pepper. Okay, take out the seeds. We're not eating, just cut those in, and then here we go. Now, you want to have them little cubes is what I say. Okay, so you're going to cut, I like to come down and then just cut them down into small little edible cubes for this type of meal. Bite size, everything, because remember, we're going to be putting this into our little pita. In the Caribbean, if you ever go to Trinidad, you have to get bacon saltfish. Now, the word bake is an oxymoron because it's actually fry bake that we normally eat this with. It's almost like the pita that I'm about to cook, but mine is going to be healthier for us. But you get fry bake, which is like a very pillowy, very airy, fried flour. I can't describe it, but just know that if you ever go to Trinidad and you just ask anybody, do you have any fried bacon, saltfish? You will not get anyone who doesn't know what that means, okay? It's just a part of our culture. It's definitely mostly a breakfast dish, okay? So you might only get it during breakfast time. But in this house, obviously, we can eat it whenever because we don't get to eat it whenever. It's only when I make it because there's no place around here that sells Trinidadian food in San Diego. They sell Jamaican food, and for Jamaica, they normally do ackee and saltfish. They don't do fry bake like we do in Trinidad. So, you know, different cultures, a lot of similarities, and definitely a lot of things that are different. And I miss it. So tonight, we're bringing the island flavor to the YouTube live. Okay. Um, Having my breakfast. Oh, yeah, because of the time difference, right? Pedro, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are making some Trinidadian dish tonight, and then we're going to make it healthier by doing protein, um, a protein pita that I think is going to go just as well because, as I was explaining, normally this dish is eaten with a type of bread that people make. We call it fry bake. Oxymoron in of itself, how you fry something that you're baking, but it's everyone will know what you're talking about if you ask for it. But you can look it up on the internet after this live if you're like still confused, like what? Why is she making something that's a fry and then it's a bake? But it's a Trinidadian thing. You know, okay? And so we're just cutting up these green onions. Okay. I'm dreading cutting the regular, those were green peppers, sorry. I'm dreading cutting this big onion because last night I did it and oh my gosh, the amount of tears from the, burning in your eye, oh my gosh. But it was such a good meal. I was so happy still. And so this is scallions that we're adding here. Just rinse them a little bit. You can do the green and the white part. Okay, just throw away the tips. You don't want the little pieces like that in your food. So you're just going to throw that away. And everything could be mixed in. So don't worry about, mixing in. I forgot I need garlic. And I'm going to put a little bit of ginger in here, but we'll see. The most important part of this to me is the tomatoes. Like I have seen it without tomatoes. I've had it without tomatoes and I'm just like, that ain't it. Okay. My mom always made it with tomatoes, but honestly, you could do it however you want to do it. It's up to you. If you don't like tomatoes, you can absolutely omit it. This is what you will call in the Caribbean poor man food. Okay. Meaning any vegetables they have, they tend to grow a lot of their vegetables. And it's, you go to the market and you can get this, most of your vegetables pretty inexpensive. And then you just add a little bit of fish in it for protein. Poor man food is what, we used to say. But my God, poor man food is, this is what poor man food tastes like, then bring it on. It's so delicious. It's normally one of those things that we don't have a lot left over in the house after we make it. So it's something that you just have to know, like if you're going to make a lot, because it's one of the, you eat it in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you don't have to only have it at breakfast time. We've had this many times throughout, and it's just whenever the mood. I feel for some saltfish, as they say in the Caribbean. I feel in for some saltfish, and you just go out and you get all your veggies, and then you get the saltfish. Okay, it's also, in general, very inexpensive. Okay, because look what I'm using, mostly like some veggies. I went to the supermarket before this and most of the veggies came up to about $14. So, and then I had a high price little item in there for my daughter. So it's not very expensive to make and it can carry you through for several meals. Okay. Especially if you're only cooking for yourself. Sorry, I'm not looking at the comments just yet. This knife I've lost a couple of skin pieces over the last few weeks using this knife. So I want to not I would like to keep my fingers, basically. What I'm hearing in the background is the water, the saltfish is on in the background. If you're just joining, we're making saltfish tonight. And we are doing the Trinidad version. Okay. There are different versions, even in Trinidad, on making this. But I am making it the way I've been taught. My mom taught me how to make this. And so that's how we're going to do it tonight. I'm going to pass that on to you. And then you can change it how you want it. Food is all about preference, honestly. Just season it and you'll be okay. Okay. If I was making this for my husband, ackee and saltfish, if you've heard of that one, it will be the same thing I'm doing here, except there'll be the ackee would be one part of the prep as well. Just making some space. All right, wish me luck on this guy. You have to have the onions though, like you just have to. I've tried skipping it before because I've been lazy on trying to cut. What is this? What? I just bought this today. Why is this in the middle of this thing here like that? Ah, Lord. So we're gonna have to cut around and try to cut around that. But why am I getting a rotten onion? I mean, look at it. Look at it. So I'm just gonna cut up this onion. And then before I finish, I'm gonna change the water out. Remember, I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do it, have that water boil about 3 times. So is there a website to get that knife? You know what? I will check. I will check for you. The name of this one, I got this in Japan. It's a Miyabi, Miyabi 7000D. And I would expect that they have a website, to be honest with you. But I can check and I will make sure if there is one, I will put it in the description after the live when I put the full recipe so that people who come on after can get an idea of how to make this if they don't want to sit through the banter. I do like talking to you guys when I'm doing this. It does make cooking faster and more enjoyable. You feel like you have company with you, right? Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, the only thing I'm missing is some cilantro. I'm gonna do a little bit of this. One of the ways I try to keep the herbs a little longer is if I put it in the bag and then try to make sure the moisture is not killing it. And I put like a little paper towel around it. It kind of holds it on for a little longer than normal. Rough chop. We're not being perfect here. Okay. But this knife does help me do all of this prep so much quicker. Okay, I do need some garlic. Let's get some garlic from the pantry. And then we will be ready to work on let's start working on the dough so that we can have some pieces going before we put everything in together. This meal comes together very quickly, okay? So if I wasn't doing all of this, I'm making bread from scratch in front of you. And then I'm making the saltfish. It comes together relatively quickly. It's definitely one that you can do on a weeknight. Don't have to have anything major going on. I'm trying to cut this down. Okay, there we go. Easiest way for me to get the garlic skin off. Smash down and then take off. Oh, unless it does. Oh, am I getting the right thing on here? Let's see. I don't know what this is, but we're just gonna excommunicate it. Okay, don't want to be part of the meal. It doesn't have to be. And then we get these tiny little ones. All right, that should be enough there just to get some flavor going in here. We call these the aromatics, right? Can put some, cut this up like that. As I said, rough chop. Nothing, we're not doing perfection. Okay, I'm gonna leave the Scotch bonnet like that for now. We're not gonna cut that up just yet. But that's the heat. You need the heat on this. Setting this aside for a little bit, cleaning up our area. I did not put the thyme. That's the one thing I didn't do. And the Scotch bonnet. So I'm gonna just leave that on the side like that. Okay. I actually didn't use the red peppers because we got the colors with the tomatoes already. So we're okay. All right. And now we're going to work a little bit on the pita because I kind of want all of this to happen quickly. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. That's what they're going to say when you in the Caribbean. I'm hungry. And so I want to get that bread going so that once everything is pretty much, to be honest, cooked, right? Your saltfish is being cooked by the boiling of the water right now. It's veggies. So the only thing that you're really going to be cooking is it's almost like a heat through. You're heating it up. Because when you see what I'm going to do, you'll be like, oh, that's it? That's all you have to do? Yes, ma'am. That's all you have to do. Your fave weirdo said, okay. Hi. And your boy Coco said, thank you. All right. I'm going to grab another. Let me get a pretty big one. Okay. And this is for getting this together. All right. Here we go. We're going to work on the pita that we'll be eating the saltfish with. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of flour in here on my board and a little bit. Don't overdo it with too much flour. Okay. Okay. I'm going to kind of pull these aside. Let's see how many we're going to make. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably should have made more. 5, 6. Trying to make them even enough. Okay. Okay, so we have 8 pieces here. My daughter is going to probably be like, that's all you made? Why? Why? You know, I'm going to be like, because Zoe, you don't need more. All right, I'm going to grab I'm going to put a little bit of flour on that as well. And then we're going to try to roll them out. And that's all you're going to do. Now, even though these are pita, I'm not going to be cutting these in, to stuff them in the middle, like in like a pocket. So I'm going to pull these out a little bit. My edges are real raggedy. Real raggedy. But that's okay. I'm just rolling them out. And then I'm going to roll them all out and then we're going to pop them in the thing. so that I don't have to keep coming back to it. Yes, not the prettiest, but it's going to taste great. And the reason it's probably raggedy is because I didn't get like a nice smooth ball here before I started rolling. It's a little better when you do it like that. Once again, my patience level for these kind of things are so zero. It's like, whatever. But I'm gonna try. Let's try process. Okay. Roll into a nice, beautiful. All right, that would work. That would be a better, won't be as raggedy as this guy. Okay. And see how that works. It's all about patience, right? Patience. And I just don't like baking. I find this to be time consuming. Although I would say if you ever make these at home, you will never want to buy pita bread outside again because it doesn't take, I don't know why. It's the one thing that you just cannot substitute in the supermarket. So it burns me if I have to make these, if I have to buy it at the supermarket. I'm like, it's just not gonna taste the same. It really doesn't. And so I am definitely pro. Take a few minutes. Take a few minutes and make this really quickly. Your taste buds will love it. And now look what we're doing. We're adding protein in our carbs. Can somebody say hell yeah? Can someone say, okay, I'll take it. I'll do it. It's not going to take me all day. I'm about to do this whole meal in under an hour. Okay. So if you see me rushing, that's why. Okay. Much better, right? If you want to make peanut butter cookies, you need 1 cup. Let me see. Ayani, you're making me hungry. Well, we're about to really make you hungry. Because when you see the saltfish done, y'all gonna be like, listen, girl, just send a plate now. That's what they say in the Caribbean. Send a plate. Send over a plate now. Because, you know, when somebody cooks something really good and the neighbor is like, send a plate over. I'm trying to make them nice and beautiful for you guys to see if you put a little bit of energy into it, what they look like. Okay. Okay. And the more you do these, the quicker they become, right? Like anything in life. The more times you make these, I made this like every week so far, right? My daughter really likes them. My son really likes it. My husband loves anything I cook. So it's a win-win. And then you save money because what I use to do this, 2 cups of flour and, you know, 1.5 cups of yogurt, you know. This one is damn near close to perfect. Okay. I'm just going to roll them all out quickly because I feel like that will give the water some time to really boil and then go into the next one. This is a big one. And what you see me doing is because I didn't make it into very nice and pretty balls. And when I don't do that, my edges look raggedy. So I'm just trying to get it going here. Okay. So it looks like, you know, the presentation, as I said, even I eat with my eyes. I don't want it to look too raggedy. Let me know in the comments if you've ever made your own pita bread before. And if you've ever done it, more importantly, with yogurt. It gives it like a little tangy taste. I can't explain it, but it's going to go down well with the saltfish. It's going to go really, really, really well. Kind of want them to be about the same size. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more and then we're going to go ahead and start getting these on the fire so that we have some cracking, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting the saltfish on there. So if you didn't do all of this before, you can do it in your little minis. And then normally I leave this to rest probably like 20 minutes too. I didn't leave it to rest this time, but you don't need to. If after you put it together, you wanted to go ahead and start. Lucille Sing from Trinidad. Okay. Lucille, you know what I'm making tonight? Saltfish from Trinidad. Saltfish. And we're making saltfish, Trinidad saltfish, Lucille. So you over there, you could tell me if you approve. I'm not making, unfortunately, I'm not making fry bake. Because at the end of the day, the whole point of this is for me to lose weight. And fry bake will not help me lose weight. So what we're doing tonight is we're making a protein pita. Okay, and what I used for that was flour, yogurt, whole Greek yogurt, some salt, and a little bit of baking powder. The baking powder is a test. But that's what we're doing tonight. So normally I know, especially from Trinidad, I know this is bacon saltfish. And I'm gonna think about it like that in my head. But the body needs, I'm committed to losing this weight. I'm committed to seeing it through. So even though I would love the fried bacon instead, we're going with the pita bread. And the pita bread has the protein in it. So the saltfish have protein, the pita bread have protein. Okay? But let me know, Lucille, if you approve. Okay. No green fig, no plantain, nothing. No. Because all of that is just extra carbs and calories that my body does not need right now. Okay? So we're going to make it a healthy version. Lucy, she's not making dumpling either. Thrifting Atlanta, you being messy. In Trinidad, we don't make dumpling anyway. That's a Jamaican thing. Tell me I'm wrong. That's not our Trinidad don't make dumplings with their saltfish. It's bacon saltfish. That's it. Fry bake, or you can have coconut bake if you want. But we don't do dumplings in Trinidad. That is a very Jamaican thing. And so, but I'm not making that because honestly, that's just empty carbs. So I'm going to go the healthier version. Okay. Remember, the whole point of these shows is to give you ideas on how you can eat what you want to eat and just make it a little more healthy for you. Make it work for the program you're on. Right now, my program is high protein and low calories. Okay. I'm trying to, do a calorie deficit of 500 calories less per day. So you can eat what you want, just understand that you're going to have to focus on how much you're eating because, what did you have for lunch? What did you have for breakfast, snacks, and all of that. So I'm trying to, and that's really what's been working for me to drop the weight. So it's been 6 a little bit over 6 weeks. And right now, for me, it's 10 pounds that I've lost. Well, 11. But who's counting that extra pound right now? Okay. So I can't do that if I'm focused on always adding like dumplings and carbs, and stuff like that. All right. We have enough here. I have 2 left over, but let me get something going on the pot now. All right. We have the saltfish that is right now boiling. I got to empty the water and put some new water in it because, as I said, my husband, I asked him to boil, put the saltfish in water today because that's one way for you to get that salt off. But it was in the bag and he put the bag in the water. So we have to kind of play catch up a little bit because I didn't have that opportunity for it to kind of get that all day. So if you're going to do this, make sure you put your saltfish to soak, okay? So you don't have to deal with all the boiling and throwing water away, boiling, boiling, boiling. So I'm going to go like that and pour this out. And let me show you what it looks like, actually. You see at the top? That's all the salt coming off from here, okay? That's all all of that is salt. So I'm going to pour that out and just add some fresh new water and then put it back on there to boil a little more. So it was been soaking for about an hour. I'm going to run this 2 times. We have time because this is the only thing that's waiting for the saltfish is just to make the saltfish portion is this. We have time to cook the pita bread and then we'll come back, pour this out again and get that in there. Okay. So clean water a little bit. Okay. And put it back on the fire. In the meanwhile, I'm going to bring you guys over to the pot because we're going to go start working on the pita bread. If you're just joining me, we're making one of my Trinidadian favorite food, saltfish. But in Trinidad, if I was doing this the right way, and if you're from Trinidad and you come on here and you say, wait now, what is that she making with the saltfish? I'm not making fry bake. And the reason being is because y'all see this shape coming in? Baby, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight. So what we did, we're going to substitute a little bit. We're making pita bread. But this pita bread is a little different. So it's going to have flour and it has protein in it. So it's protein pitas. And then 3 ingredients, flour, yogurt, some salt. I rolled it out and now we're about to put this in the pan. So let me put that pan on and I'm going to bring you over there. You're wrong, unless it's a Grenadian thing. Truth is dry bake or roast coconut bacon, saltfish, and zabuka. Dry bake or roast coconut bake, yes. Okay, Summer, school them. Because everybody always think they have to have dumpling. Listen here. I didn't grow up on nobody dumpling. Okay. I'm actually going to use my non-stick pot. I'm going to use this guy to make the pita. Oh, this thing could break somebody down, So I'm going to use this to make the pita and then the cast iron pot to make the saltfish, okay? So let me just get up. Make sure this is clean. We're going to put this on. All right. You're going to put this fire here. We're going to put this on a a medium heat. Okay. This is going to cook real fast. Hear the accent? Real fast. If you don't watch it, it will burn. So stay behind near the fire. Okay. Because this is not one of those things where you're doing 17 million things. That's why I wanted to roll out as many. So I could come in, drop. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to put on I'm going to heat it up a little bit. We have this ready. Let me get a plate even for it to come out. And then we're going to get our tongue. I'm going to put my plate right here. Okay. And I'm going to get some tongues. Okay. Okay. If you're just joining, I'm making saltfish, but the saltfish is in here right now because it needs that to boil out some of the salt. Okay. And then in the next round of water, I'm going to break this up a little bit. You want this, you see how it's starting to come mash up again? This is what you want. You want it to mash up, get that salt off of it here. That's exactly what you want. So the salt is coming out. You're just boiling it so that the water, the salt in the fish. I'm telling you now, because I've seen and heard, you cannot eat saltfish out of the bag in any capacity. You can't bake it. You can't, soak it in some water and rinse it. You have to either soak it for about 8 hours, or you have to kind of do this system of boil, throw out. Okay? Please don't come back on my live talking about I had you cooking saltfish in the oven and it was all salt. It is salty. That's why we call it saltfish. But if you see it somewhere else, it's gonna say salted cod and stuff like that. Okay, that's what you're gonna see. All right. I might have put a little bit too much oil in there, but we'll see. We might see. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna pour out some of this oil because we don't need that much to fry, and it's not really frying. So let me pour some of this out. Save a couple of calories while we're doing this. Okay. All right. Turning the heat up to medium. I'm gonna put the first one in there. I think I could only do one at a time because of the size of the pot. But I want you to watch what's going to happen to these. Okay, I'm going to make that nice for you. Okay. Okay. The other thing why I don't want to do this as fry bake. To make fry bake, you would normally put the dough in like a lot of oil because you're frying it. And then you use oil to kind of cook it. We're not doing all that. Not on this journey. Okay, we're lessening down the amount of fried foods we do and stuff like that. Okay, boil it for a while, and in my country we call it codfish in English, bacalao in Spanish. Exactly, that was the word I was looking for, codfish. Yeah. So we're gonna boil. It's on its second boil. My Yulinde, she says, in my country. What's your country, girl? Tell us. Let's know. Let us know what's going on. Mr. Carter, thank you for jumping on from Chicago. Welcome. Okay, so you see how this is starting to bubble up a little bit? Let me make sure you're on this side. Let me bring you closer to the action. Okay. Okay, there you go. So you see how it's starting to bubble up a little bit there? I'm telling y'all, this pita bread thing, I should start selling this. You want to wait for it to bubble up a little bit because it's going to get that air pocket. That's what makes it like the pita, honestly. It's like an air pocket in the middle. We're not going to eat it like that tonight, where I need to make it as a pocket. But hey, if you want to, we're just going to make it bubble up. Keep your thing, patience. This is, one of those things. Trust the process. You see how I tipped it up a little bit to see kind of how it looking. Look at that. Look at that. Give it a little more color. But you see how I broke it there? That's why you want to have patience with these things. So I'm going to keep that. I think maybe I could do 2. Let me do 2. Because people hungry, People hungry in this house. So we're going to do 2. I'm going to see if I could get that in there. Let me do it. Let me try. Probably need a bigger pot. Okay. See how that look nice and gold. It tastes, it's so good. I'm telling you. Try it at home. You will not be disappointed. And I'm gonna use this same pot to make the the saltfish too. Get all that nice little flavor in there. All that flavor. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You see how it's bubbling up again on this side? That's how you know you got a good little air pocket coming in. I'm gonna wait for this guy to get his own pocket, and we're gonna start it. Once again, this meal is something that you can cook for any time of the day. In Trinidad, we use it really for breakfast. You really will get bacon saltfish a lot of places for breakfast. But I live in San Diego, and unfortunately, there's no place that sells bacon saltfish. They sell ackee and saltfish, different thing, different country, different flavor, but very close to the same um, cooking method. Okay, see how it's popping up there? I'm gonna leave it for a little bit. Give this guy some time to pull up. I don't think I could crowd the pot again. Um, do you freeze your veggie scraps for stocks? Devin, no. But tell me how. Oh, from Colombia. Oh, nice. Yes. See, I don't want to. Next time I got to do one at a time because I'm crowding it. But do you see how beautiful that looks? Just a little bit. And then you could take that out like that. As I said, I had put a little bit too much oil on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these guys like that. And so they don't stick when I put them in. I'm just going to put a paper towel in between. Pull this guy in the middle so you could get that heat because it's starting to rise on the side. And then turn over. Very, very quick. Very quick, very easy. And oh Lord, so delicious. On the other pot going, I minced up all the saltfish now. And I'm about to put it into for the last round of boiling so that when this guy finish, we can go ahead and just put the veggies in. And then the meal is done. Okay? Doesn't take too long. You would think that it's a all day kind of thing, the way, you know, it's such a national dish, but it does not take that long. And so you see when I lifted, look, the air is trying to pop out over there. I'm gonna raise the heat a little bit to move this along because I think we got the hang of it, right? We got the hang of it. Actually, I might open up another pot so that we can cook the saltfish, veggies, and stuff. They sell all of it here in New Jersey. Yes. I used to live in New York, so I absolutely know how amazing it is to go buy all of this stuff. But here in San Diego, it is not, we do not get that opportunity. So for me, I have to make it at home. You know, if I feel for it, I have to make it at home because there's none of that here. There's a couple of Jamaican restaurants, but they're really, they sell the exact same thing every day, which is like, I don't know how they do it. I do not know how they do it. All right, there we go. You see how beautiful that look? All right, I'm gonna go less on the thing. Don't need a lot of oil, right? We're not frying. It's just to keep it from sticking, honestly. So you don't need a lot of oil, and that's why I'm not making fry bake. Okay, fry bake in Caribbean, this would be half, you know, a good amount of oil, and you fry it in the oil. It bubbles up on the oil. It tastes good, you know. It really, really tastes good. But when you're trying to lose weight, it's not the look. I can't be up in here showing y'all how to fry stuff. Talking about, hey, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks again. Because that's my goal. 6 more weeks, 10 more pounds, and then I'll be at the goal that I want to. All right. I'm gonna empty this guy because this is ready. And so I'm going to make sure I have my strainer. And then I'm going to get that emptied and I'll taste it because that's how you're going to know if you've gotten most of the water in there. Y'all watch my pita bread for me. Make sure it's not burning. Tell me. Make sure it is not burning. So I'm going to taste this on this side. Okay, it's coming along, but it needs one more round of water. It's a little salty still. And that's the whole point of this. Yes, we want saltfish. We don't want it to be salty. And there's a way to get that off. Okay. So I'm just going to add some more water. How the pita bread going? How it going? Huh? It burning yet? Let me know. Let me know. Okay. So you see, I'm going to put this back in there. I'm going to let that boil up for a little bit. All right. This guy looks like he's ready to turn. Look at that. Oh, look how that look pretty. So beautiful. Look at how it's bubbling up there. I mean, I could just stare at that all day. Like, look at that. The best is if I could get the whole thing to move around. Whew, then I've hit it, but I've never been able to do that. Where it just hits every... Looks like this guy look like he really want to do it to know. He really could do this one. Could we look at him and see this? Can you imagine you on your you moving through a live and you see this and you're like, what is going on here? James Calicut, thank you so much for joining. We are making Trinidadian saltfish. And normally in Trinidad, this will be accompanied with fry bake. But we are on a journey here to lose weight, eat healthy, but still enjoy the flavors of life and when it comes to food. And so this one is what we made here is this is a pita, protein pita. And the reason it's a protein pita is that I made this with, we're making this all with flour, yogurt, and some salt. Today I'm testing it by adding a little bit of baking powder. So we'll see if that changes anything, which I doubt because everything has been going exactly how you would expect it to go. In this pot, I have the saltfish that is on its third boil. And I had to boil it because I didn't have an opportunity to soak it for about 8 hours to get some of that salt off. In other parts of the world, this same fish is called different things. So you can, in the Latin American, it's going to be bacalao, codfish, pollock. That's actually the name on the bag that I got today. And I get mine from the Mexican international supermarket. But if you see anything that says salted, and you will see the salt, you can't just rinse it under the water. You have to do a technique to get that salt off, or else you will come back and curse me. If you try to do that, you will come back and be like, what in the world? You cannot just rinse it underwater and say we're ready to go. So I'm giving you that warning. And you want to taste it before you add it to the meal. So whatever you're cooking, you can tell if the salt is gone in there. Okay. You want to really get as much of that salt out where it doesn't taste like you're going to be getting a heart attack or, raising your blood pressure. On the side, I've cut up all my veggies and all I'm doing is waiting for one of these pots to open up. So I have my green peppers, I have tomatoes, I have onions, I have cilantro, I have some thyme, I have garlic, I have onions, as I mentioned, I have thyme. And then I'm just going to put that all in a pot, fry them up, and we're done. But I want to make sure I have my bread. because if I'm gonna go close to bacon saltfish, I might as well make something that the family like. All right, this is ready to turn. And look how gorgeous that is. Look at, come on. Give this thing a little round of applause. Give him a round of applause because look how beautiful that thing look. Okay. So we have those going there. And I think this guy is ready. So I'm going to start working on, I'm going to grab another pot for this. I'm going to use my cast iron pot. And so we're going to be able to start cooking the saltfish on this side. Give this 2 seconds. And then look at how that, you see that rising there? If you wanted to cut the pita and now make a pocket, this is telling you there's room to do that because that rise is the gluten separating. And so you can be able to make a pocket. I'm not going to make pockets for these tonight. We're just going to tear it and eat it. It's a meal that we eat together. Like, don't even need a fork, honestly. You can eat it together with just the bread. And so that's how we'll eat it tonight. But we're not going to stuff it in the pocket. You don't have to, but if you want, this is your cue that you can do so if you see it rise and kind of open up a little space for you to do that. Okay, like that. Okay. Gonna get that, guys, going. We're not frying this, just a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And now we're gonna go ahead and start working on the saltfish portion. Put this in there, get that over. I'm gonna move this guy out. And then we're gonna start doing this. Okay, I'm gonna get this off of here and let me grab my cast iron, and this will be done for now. Okay, you want to strain this, obviously, because I've made the water, I've kind of mashed up the saltfish. So I do want to make sure that, and then I'm gonna run it under some water for a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's get the saltfish going now. Okay. How my bake looking? All right. Here's my cast iron. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there because we're going to cook the veggies in here now, okay? All right. One thing to do with your food is to taste it as you're cooking. Okay? Taste the saltfish. Make sure that it doesn't taste salty. And I think we have hit perfection. Okay? We got our, okay, that's good to go and ready. So what's going to happen first is we want to cook the, I'm going to bring this on this side. We are going to be cooking there you go. We're going to be cooking the veggies first. And you've already cut up your veggies, so it's a matter of just literally pouring it into here once this is nice and hot. You know when it's really hot, when that oil moves down and it's not taking its slow, sweet time. So this needs a little more heating up. This needs turning because we're going to burn it. And then there we go. See how pretty that looks? And then we have one more piece to go. And then we are ready for dinner. Let me know if this is something that you would make at home. That's Sada roti. Lucille, it's yes. If you want to say it like that, I'll go along with that. Sada roti is like another kind of bread in Trinidad, mostly from the Indian population that brings that there. Miss Cheryl Graham saying hello. Thank you so much. Miss Cheryl, I am bringing some island flavors to YouTube tonight. We're making my home country, one of the very well-known dishes in Trinidad, mostly a breakfast dish, and that is um, saltfish. But normally, when you get it in Trinidad, people normally get it as baked and saltfish. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, your girl is working on losing her weight and looking fly as can be before the end of the year. And to do that, if you've followed me, and if you're not following me, I would love for you to do a follow. I've been coming on here almost nightly and showing you various different meals you can make, focusing on high protein and low calories. And so, unfortunately for us, um, that will not work when we are doing um, fry bake. You know, it's just not going to work for us. So tonight we are going to be making. Um, we are making. Let me just move this a little bit. 1 second. We are making. See how that is burning over there? I just want to make sure the oil is everywhere. Okay. And that is hot, 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 hot. We are making protein roti, protein pita. Um, where I just used flour, and we used yogurt. Sorry, trying to do way too much at once and try to talk and explain. Okay, here we go. Everything goes in. That's the beauty of this thing. Everything goes in at the same time. And let me tell you, the smell alone of this will make you want to eat whatever it is cooking. The smell alone. Okay. Lots of veggies in here. Lots of veggies. I mean, the smell. Like, what else do you need? What else do you need on this? I'm going to do some black pepper. This thing alone is going to be like, what is cooking in here? Absolutely love this, how this smells. You see my pita over there almost done. So dinner is almost about a couple of minutes away from completion. I'm going to have this at a medium high heat. Lots of black pepper. Okay. And then I'm going to add some thyme. Yes, I know. It's a lot of black pepper. Go for it. Okay. Go for the black pepper. Turn your pita so you don't lose it. And I'm rolling out one last one because my daughter will come down here and eat all these pita before anybody else have a chance. So I want to make sure she have an extra one or two because she really, really loves these pita. If you haven't tried this before, I really hope you can rewind the video and watch how simple and easy it was to make. And if you make a whole bunch of them you have for the week, no issue. Okay. See how this is coming along? Let me add some, and I want this real high. So I know my accent keep coming in and out and you're confused. Like, what is she? Is she in Trinidad right now? What's going on? So I'm gonna put some thyme in here. As I mentioned before, thyme is, if in Trinidad, is just you put it in everything. And you give it that flavor. Oh gosh. And then you try to, it smells so good. Check out homeboy on this side here, blowing up. Okay. You don't even have to add much more. Like all these veggies are doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Cooking down a little bit the tomatoes. You want that onion to not have that raw bite. So you're just gonna keep moving them around a little bit like that. I'm gonna take this guy out. See how he was trying to cut out there. Let me make sure this cook. Mm, my gosh. It's really the yogurt, that little um tang that yogurt does give off. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. You cannot help but love it. Okay, so what I'm gonna add, I have habanero peppers. In Trinidad, we have Scotch bonnet. I'm gonna cut a little piece, no seeds, because my family don't like spicy as much as I do. So I'm cutting some by the skin, not close to the stem, and definitely no seeds. I'm just gonna put it in there. Give it a little spicy spice. And then we get that all in there. And then the last part of this is to add the saltfish. Remember the saltfish already cooked, eh? Because when it was in the boiling water, that's what it was doing, cooking. And so now we're gonna add it. Here it is that I have it in the strainer. Get all those pieces in there. And then now we just mixing it in. Oh my goodness. And if you did a good job on taking out all the salt, you're going to have to add a little bit of salt. If you did not, then listen, do not do it to yourself. Okay? Don't do it to yourself. Because you're going to feel, nothing worse than salty saltfish. So nobody could eat it. More black pepper. That's the seasoning. You have your little peppers in there. You have your onions. You have your tomatoes. And I just like to go in with a little bit of olive oil. And then lower that heat a little bit so it don't dry out. And there we go. Who wants some? Let me know in the comments who coming over. Who wants some? Well, not coming over. We don't want any kind of stalk or anything here, but who wants some? Last one, turn over, looking like you will burn. Good night. I have an early morning tomorrow. Good night. Thank you for joining still though. Malva, you say you want some? Yeah, this thing here, nobody could touch this. This thing here, as I said, mostly a morning dish, a breakfast dish, and that's it. I'm gonna just do a little more time, and then we're done. Bake done. The protein's done. The protein pita is done. The saltfish done. Turn off the fire. I'm gonna taste it a little bit now. Let me see if I need any. I need a little bit of salt. And that's all you need there. Interesting, eh? You take out salt to add salt. And that's it. All right, y'all know my favorite part of the show, plating it for y'all. Because if you can't have it to taste, at least see the finished product now. Okay. We done, we done, we done. We done. I'm gonna move this aside. Let's get a plate going. Because some people say they want some. Shakadria. Hello, Yasmin. Hello. Shakadria. This is we're making one of my favorite country dish from Trinidad, and it's really saltfish. But in Trinidad, we normally do bake and saltfish, fry, bake, and saltfish. Unfortunately, because I am looking to lose weight, I'm trying to show people that they can still eat amazing food without having to, the same dry chicken and broccoli every week or day. I'm looking at various ways we can make that dinner or breakfast or lunch or the snack and do high protein in it. So instead of making fry bake, which would be a lot of carbs, I did protein pitas. So we made protein pitas, which I'm going to show you, and then we made our saltfish together. So that is what we're doing, making sure the body gets what it needs, and that I get to enjoy eating and enjoying the food that I have always loved without having to give up too much. Because too many times when people say they are on a healthy lifestyle, it feels like you have to give up everything. So this is the meal. And so this is our protein pita, which looks just fantastic. And then this is our saltfish. The saltfish is going to have protein. The protein pita has protein. So I'm hitting that. And calorie count tonight, probably, let's see, I will probably be under, I'm thinking with this meal, I'm probably about 500 calories. Hello? Can someone say 500 calories for dinner? Yes, we're about doing it like that. So, because you can't taste it, I will taste it for you. Remember, as I said, could be a pita. If you cut it, you can open it up and you can stuff things in it. But I'm gonna go. Do you see how that looks? If I wanted to stuff it, but tonight we're gonna go the easy way, and this is kind of how you would eat it in Trinidad, right? You just put it in bread. Mmm. Wow. I'll tell you this much. I'm not missing the fry bake. And that, as a Trini girl, that says a lot. That says a whole lot. Um, my kids actually really, really love this pita bread. Mm. Wow. I'm about to do this. Lorna, girl, oh gosh, thanks for the tip, little super chat. Lorna, girl, I just made saltfish, Trinidadian style saltfish, and pita bread. But the pita bread is protein pita bread. So it had yogurt, flour, and salt. That was the 3 ingredients. And let me show you now. This is how we look in here. This is going to fill me up. And what about this is that, yes, it looks a little bit. Because of the high protein count, I'm not going to feel hungry. And normally I work out in the mornings. After I eat my dinner, I work out in the mornings fasting, meaning I do not eat before I work out. And I'm always still full from the night before. Not that I'm eating a lot. My portion sizes are still pretty small. But what I'm doing is supplementing most of those calories with protein, really. And so if you're going to increase your proteins, it's going to keep you full longer. They're satiating, but I'm not giving up flavor for fit. Okay? This thing here, call all the Caribbean folks. Tell them come through. Tell them come through for a plate. Because this thing tastes, it's great. All right? But thank you so much for jumping up. You see this girl thrifting Atlanta. Thanks for the big ups. With the pepper sauce. Lorna, I put pepper in it already. And you know the family, they don't like the pepper. So I put pepper in there already. They don't they just riot when I put pepper in stuff. I like it. But you can eat it just so, man. Because it tastes real good. That's how they will say in the Caribbean. It tastes real good, boy. So try making it. It won't disappoint. Thank you so much for jumping on here with me. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the super chat, Lorna. But I get a piece of pepper. I get hmm. I appreciate the love. Thank you. See you tomorrow at 6:30. I don't know yet what I'm cooking, but it's gonna be something high protein. It's gonna taste good. It's gonna be good for the body. All right. Have a good night.